The soul of crypto will do this. What is it that it will do, you ask? I'll tell you very point blank. Have you noticed how crypto has been moving recently, and specifically Solana, SOL, what it's been doing? When Bitcoin started dumping, not really a major dump, but people started taking profits at the top in an area where we had pointed out that the VEPs were indicating it was a good profit-taking area. Sol just kept going up. And then some hours later, a couple days later in fact, as Bitcoin kept falling, Sol started to dump a little. And the paranoid, who never actually take their profits at the top, sat there worried that they were about to get wrecked instead of just taking their profits. But what do the VEPS traders do? Well, they took their profits at or near the top, and then they shorted it. And when it came down to a good, nice 10% drop, they longed it. And now it's back to where it was and even higher. So it went from about $1.98 or $198 down to about like 181 or something like that, around that, and then walked up very nicely all day. And his last I saw was around 203. It hit like 205 earlier. So what do you think is going to happen when you've got the mean of the returns and the returns showing you the information that it does, and the volatility and the correlation showing you the direction, as well as the entropy and its correlation showing you the direction, as well as variance and its coefficient of correlation showing you the direction. When you have all that information showing you the direction and it's accurate, what do? Do you seize the day, as the saying goes, carpe diem, or do you rue it? Right? Well, if you rue it, it isn't necessarily very good for you. Oh. Because if you just rue the day, that means you haven't taken the profits you needed to seize the day. Why should you care about whether or not you seize the day? Well, because therein lies opportunity and rewards and riches beyond your wildest dreams. Right? No. But yes, but no, that's not the point. The point is you seek the rewards when you trade. That is the purpose, right? It's not about even necessarily making things that are good. It's not about creating some wonderful capitalist enterprise. It's not about advancing goals that are bigger than yourself, right? It's pure and simple Call it what it is, it's greed. And when greed occurs, not that there's anything wrong with that if it's in limited doses, but when greed occurs, it can go one of two ways. Right? It can really go one of three ways. And those ways are basically the same as they always are. It can go up, down, or sideways. You can make the right move and take profit from the experience. You can make the wrong move and take a big hit from the experience. Or it can go sideways and basically you just sit there doing nothing because it's not doing anything. And you're just sitting in an asset that's not moving either way. And you can learn your lesson from that. Now, are there situations where things going sideways is good? Well, sure. If, for example, you're creating a volatile asset against a relatively stable pair, okay? For example, Bitcoin against the dollar, okay? Which one of those is stable, more stable, the dollar or Bitcoin? Right, sure, when you zoom in, there's tons of hills and valleys on the dollar, but relatively, it's stable, right? In fact, it's so stable, it's considered the standard default reserve economy of the world. And it's the default currency for which petrodollars exist. And petro deals are done in dollars, right? For a reason. Because it's considered the most stable, large-scale fiat currency. Now, does that mean it's entirely stable? No. It has changes too. Are there even significant moves in it? Yes, relatively, right? Sure. But overall, it's a relatively stable currency. Are there even more stable assets? Sure, there are. Plenty of commodities are relatively more stable because they're literally staples upon which billions of people, rely every day. Rice, soybeans, wheat, whatever. Those things are relatively stable, although they too have moments of relative volatility. And the point is that if you're trading Bitcoin against a relatively stable asset pair like the dollar or the euro or the yen or the whatever, pound, then you can actually take profits when the asset makes your move and swap those profits for that relatively stable fiat currency if you need to. Some people don't like trading into fiats at all, and I get that, because fiats are backed by nothing, right? It's just the faith of the government that issues them. The good credit, the good word, the good name of the government that issues them. Well, what if that government isn't such a good government? What if they're not so high on integrity? What if they actually have quite a lack of character? Then what? Should you still take them at their word? Should you still believe whatever they say? Even if they're not really believable people that run the government? Even if the government itself has done incredibly dishonest things? Seems to me like I get why people don't want to keep money in fiat. But sometimes, if you live in the real world, you need to use fiat. You go to a store, you can't always pay in life, right? To pay bills, to pay whatever. Mortgages or rent or cars, whatever it might be. There's always someone who wants that fiat. So you have to have some, and a lot of times people, in fact most of the time, people still earn money in fiat at their jobs, right? Most people don't get paid in crypto yet. More and more do, but most people don't. And even the ones that do, transfer some of their money either into something like USDT or USDC, some kind of, dollar pegged or euro pegged or some other kind of stable coin, right? Because they need to transfer it to fiat, or they need to cash it out through PayPal or whatever, right? Coinbase, something. They use some kind of way to cash it out, and then they use it, or they deposit it from there into their bank account, or whatever they do. So, how do these things happen? Well, these things happen on the mechanics side of it. The sites basically just have protocols that talk to each other and allow bank transfers of crypto to fiat. So, in an exchange like Coinbase or Bybit or wherever you might be trading, OKX, you can Binance, you can swap your crypto for fiat and then deposit it into your bank account or onto your card if you have a card that allows you to deposit onto it. Not all cards allow you to deposit onto the card, so sometimes you have to pay the card through the bank, etc. Anyway, so my point is, what is Sol going to do? Well, the answer is whatever the VEP says. If you want to know how to use that, the VEPs that is, just go to alphatradinghq.com/discord and go to the request support channel and create a ticket. Start getting hooked up with the tools and the way. Happy trading.